La abogada Margaret W. Wong tiene 45 años de experiencia en leyes de inmigración y ha sido premiada en múltiples ocasiones como una de las mejores abogadas del país. Maneja todo tipo de casos migratorios a nivel nacional y tiene oficinas en 9 ciudades: Cleveland, Nueva York, Memphis, Nashville, Atlanta, Columbus, Raleigh, North Carolina, Chicago y Minneapolis. No hay caso de inmigración que no podamos manejar. Es la abogada Margaret Wong, la que sí sabe de inmigración. 216-259-8897. 216-259-8897.
Yo soy Margaret Wong.
Buenos días, bienvenidos a su espacio Camino del Inmigrante con la abogada Margaret Wong. Si usted tiene preguntas de inmigración que hacer, este es el momento para realizarlas. Tenemos oficinas en 9 estados de la Unión Americana y desde ahora usted puede hacer su cita con nosotros marcando al 216-259-8897. Damos la bienvenida a los anfitriones de este espacio, Juan Carlos Brando y por supuesto la abogada Margaret Wong. Buenos días.
Buenos días, Alicia. Good morning, Ms. Wong. How are you doing today?
We are doing very well and nice seeing both of you. The highlight of my day is to be able to work with both of you. It's fun.
Bueno, que nos dice la abogada que gracias, que está muy contenta de estar con nosotros y que algo resaltante de sus días o algo que mejora sus días es poder trabajar con nosotros dos.
¡Qué maravilla! Y nosotros también estamos muy contentos. Muchos anuncios, algunos de ellos no tienen que ver con migración, Juan Carlos, pero si estudiaste en los Estados Unidos y tienes una deuda grandísima hoy, es posible que esa deuda se pueda reducir hasta $10,000. Entonces, es una muy buena noticia para todos los estudiantes. Y nosotros inmediatamente comenzamos a recibir preguntas que tenemos ya acumuladas, abogada, de todas las personas que mandan sus inquietudes a través de nuestra página de Facebook, tanto de la abogada Margaret Wong en español, como de nuestro Facebook de Inmigrantes al Día con respecto, Juan Carlos, al asilo, a los permisos de trabajo. Y nos llega la primera. Nos dice Olga Lidia Butterflies. Hola, ¿cuándo se avisa a UCIS que está lista a esperar visa U por emergencia a tu país? ¿Se avisa esto al consulado? Interesante pregunta.
Okay, Ms. Wong, we never had a question like this in the show, and this is really interesting. Hi, when should I let USCIS know that I went out of the country to wait for my U visa overseas for an emergency in my country? Should I tell the consulate, or is there another way to notify them?
Number one, anytime you were already out of status in America, when you leave the country, I always recommend before you leave, go to ICE. They'll give you a form. And once you get to your country, you have to go in line to the American embassy. Actually, you don't have to go to line because they do a lot of these forms. They'll sign it, and then they'll send it back directly to American immigration to tell them you left. And so, but since you didn't do that, there are 2 things you can do. You either go to American Embassy now and let them know you're there, but you couldn't get in because right now they're really idiots. They won't let us in. Another way to do it is write a letter on the receipt and say you left the country, and also do an AR-11. That's a change of address on the USCIS.gov. Also, nowadays, they give you instruction on how to open your own account. So from your own account, you can also email them stuff like that. But do let them know. And I hope you already took your fingerprint, because anytime you do a U visa, for example, I'm 35 years old now. I have a U visa. I have a wife who's undocumented in America. I have 2 children. That's 8 and 10 years old in El Salvador. And so you can do you yourself is a U visa, your wife is a U2, and the kids are U3. So they can also get a work permit. They also get a fingerprint. Right now, there's a problem with American immigration in that anytime the kid is overseas or wife overseas, you can't get fingerprint. So what you need to do is there's a CAM program in America. You just go Google CAM. A lot of not-for-profits in Ohio, in Cleveland alone, we have 3 addresses that I routinely give them to my client. And Memphis have it. The whole country have it. The government is paying these not-for-profits for only children and parents, or I would fight them. I would bring in the birth certificate and your receipt notice of U visa, your work permit from U visa, whatever you have from asylum. Go to the TAM program and talk to them on getting for the kids or your wife to come to America on a parole visa, because America is having too many undocumented from the southern border. So this program would release people who already have parents or children in America who have sort of any status, U visa, TPS, DED, asylum.
So Ms. Wong, she's adding that she received the C-14 on 2021, been in Mexico for U visa, and she's also asking how long does it take for the I-192 to be approved?
I-192 should be approved together with the U visa, which is a 918. So depends on when you file, but since you already got the C-14, I don't know if you come back. You know what I would do? You may want just to do a DS-160, go to the American Embassy website, go to USDOS, look for Mexico. I would fill out the DS-160 and ask for a tourist visa or something. Show them your C-14, show them your whole filing, the receipt notice, the 918, the 192. It's not approved yet because I know why you're asking. You're hoping the waiver. The waiver would not be approved until the U visa is approved. U visa is stopped. The approval has stopped since January. But you know what I would do? If I were you, I would go today, now. I hope you're listening. Go to the USDS website, fill out the DS to 160. And look stupid and just go in there. You already took the fingerprint. The fact that you already have a C-14, you took 2 fingerprints, at least 1, because when you file the U visa, they give you 1 fingerprint. Sometimes they also give you a second one for the 192 or for the C-14 or something. So you already have fingerprints in file. It shows that you're probably, you're a victim. Sometimes American Embassy may let you come back. I don't know what country you're from. You're from Mexico. That's what I would do. If you're from Central America, I would go to the American Embassy if you can get paroled in. But since you're a victim, I would try to come back. There's also as a humanitarian parole, but that you go through Washington is too complicated because right now they're worried about the Ukrainians, Afghanistans. So I would do the DS-160 and see what they do and try to come back. And especially if there's any domestic violence, those are really good cases. Depends on the victim of the crime, what kind of crime.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. Bueno, creo que Olga habla inglés porque estuvo asintiendo con la respuesta de la abogada. Sin embargo, para traducir un poco lo que la abogada estaba diciendo, nos dice, siempre que vayas a salir de los Estados Unidos es bueno que le notifiques a ICE. Ellos te dan una forma para que ellos sepan que tú estás saliendo de los Estados Unidos. Ahora bien, hay muchos motivos por los que una persona podría salir. En este caso, ella tiene una visa U pendiente y si ya ella salió con ese permiso o si el permiso de salida no le ha llegado todavía, entonces tendríamos que ver si es que esa I-192 está detenida por el hecho de tener una visa U que está pendiente. Pero bueno, hay que ver todas las conexiones que pueda tener su caso. La solicitud de la visa U es la forma 918 y tiene que estar todo firmado. También el permiso de trabajo no le da garantía para que usted pueda salir y volver a entrar a los Estados Unidos. Así que ese permiso, si usted tiene la emergencia de salir, puede hacerlo. Sin embargo, si la emergencia se trata de alguno de sus hijos, pero usted es de algún país centroamericano como El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, usted puede aplicar por el programa CAM, que es un programa gratuito que podría traer a sus hijos que estén en algún país de Centroamérica. No aplica para México ni para otros países de otras latitudes, pero aplica para estos 3 países de Centroamérica específicamente. Y pues lo que recomienda la abogada es que siempre usted tenga récord de todo lo que usted está haciendo, que usted tenga la información acerca de su visa U, que si ya usted tiene su permiso de trabajo, usted mantenga su permiso de trabajo, que lleva siempre records para que no vaya a tener problemas con la visa U. Pero definitivamente la abogada le dice, si usted quiere salir del país, pues hágalo, pero la visa U no se le va a caer por la salida de los Estados Unidos, pero haga todo correctamente para que no tenga problemas al momento de regresar a los Estados Unidos y que no le pongan inconvenientes para volver.
Excelentes noticias para la señora Butterfly, y si usted tiene preguntas también puede hacerlo directamente con nosotros a través de este Facebook Live, o cuando termine el Facebook Live, si no entra a tiempo y está viendo este programa después, puede dejarnos sus preguntas y nosotros con muchísimo gusto el próximo miércoles las hacemos a través de esta plataforma digital. Recuerda que puede hacer su cita en este momento marcando al 216-259-8897 y que tenemos oficinas en los 9 estados de la Unión Americana, en 9 estados que usted se puede conectar directamente con nosotros a este número que es el céntrico para que pueda hacer su cita desde donde usted nos llame. Siguen llegando preguntas, tenemos preguntas de asilo, de peticiones. Y nos dicen, buenos días, envié mi aplicación de TPS, abogada, hace un mes y aún no tengo respuesta. ¿Qué pasa si UCIS no abre mi solicitud antes del 10 de septiembre? Buena pregunta.
Okay, Ms. Wong, this person sent the application for the TPS, is a Venezuelan person, 1 month ago and still has not the receipt notice. What happens if USCIS does not open my application before September the 10th?
Oh, no. As long as you know, that's why we do all Federal Express or USPS or something to have a receipt. As long as they received it, even though you didn't get a receipt, you're okay. So I hope you send it in certified mail, something that you know they received it. They will, because right now, because of the deadline, everybody's filing. They're just slow. Right now, people are not working. There's a big quiet quitting in America. It happens in every industry, in private law firms, in the government. People just don't want to work. I don't blame them. I mean, it's just a COVID really changed the way we work, we think.
Ok, Alicia, pues bueno, la abogada nos dice, sí, la abogada nos dice que no debería haber problema, siempre y cuando usted tenga la prueba de que usted envió esa aplicación antes del 10 de septiembre, que usted mantenga los records, que usted mantenga el tracking number de su aplicación, de USPS, de todo, no debería tener problema porque usted tiene la prueba de que usted lo envió en el tiempo. El problema es que ellos tardan para abrir los sobres o para abrir las aplicaciones porque hay poco personal trabajando, hay una gran silenciosa renuncia en los Estados Unidos en todas las áreas, en áreas del gobierno, en empresas privadas, firmas de abogados privadas, en todas partes la gente está renunciando, la gente simplemente no quiere trabajar y esto es algo que le atribuimos al COVID. La gente cambió su forma de pensar y no están trabajando. Pero usted, si lo envió por FedEx o lo envió por USPS, ojalá lo haya enviado por Certified Mail o por correo certificado, o que tenga por lo menos el receipt notice o la noticia de recibo para que usted tenga la prueba de que usted lo envió en el tiempo estipulado.
Bueno, definitivamente, Juan Carlos, nosotros nos estamos riendo aquí en broma, pero es una realidad. Hubo un estudio que lo ha catalogado como la gran renuncia. Le han puesto hasta título a la cantidad tan grande de estadounidenses y de personas en el mundo que no han querido regresar a sus trabajos después de la pandemia. Seguimos recibiendo sus preguntas a través de nuestro Facebook Live. Usted lo puede hacer en este momento aprovechando que estamos en vivo con la abogada Margaret W. 216-259-8897 es el número que usted tiene que marcar si quiere hacer una cita. Es tiempo de inmigración y seguimos nosotros, Juan Carlos, con más preguntas a través de nuestras redes sociales. Es curioso ver, muchas preguntas también nos llegan a través del TPS y de lo que está pasando. Nos dicen, buenos días, soy de Nicaragua, entré hace 2 semanas. Hace 2 meses con un permiso de entrada. ¿Qué debo hacer? ¿Me debo reportar en Atlanta? Y su fecha de corte es en el 2023. Interesante.
Okay, so Ms. Wong, this person is in Atlanta, is from Nicaragua. She entered to the United States 2 months ago with parole in. What should I do?
Normally, if you have... Yeah, in the olden days, when you're paroled in, they give you a small white piece of paper, and the top right-hand corner, they'll say parole to what date. Nowadays, because of the border, congratulations, you're coming in on parole. There's two reasons why they grant parole. Number one, you're lucky, but more than that, they feel that your story is credible. Normally, they give you a 1 year parole. You only came in 2 weeks ago. Absolutely, definitely file for the work permit, because right now the work permit, sometimes it takes 3 months. We just had a parole that was granted on a I think it's TPS, only 30 days. So that's awesome. So on a U visa or something. So, but work permit nowadays is taking 9 months. So hurry up and file your work permit. It would only be granted up to the 1 year of that parole. So if you came to America 2 weeks ago, which is August, it should only be granted for next year up to August 23. That's a work permit. So hurry up and file it, because it takes them 9 months. You only get 3 months. But reason why it's important, because of this work permit grant, you get a social. You can also start getting a driver's license, because Atlanta, you need that work permit. In Atlanta, if you drive without a license and they catch you, the fine sometimes is more than $1,000. So I don't think it's fair. And I hope those of you who are listening to us, you need to talk to your local politicians to reduce the fine, because it's not fair. The government's purpose is not to make a profit from criminals or from minor misdemeanors just to make a profit, because you know you can. We are voiceless, we are gullible. So, and it's not my fault that you don't give me a driver's license. It's not my fault that in Atlanta, you're all Republicans. You don't give me, like in New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, Massachusetts, they are giving driver's license for people without work permit. So in Atlanta, for people like us, unless you take an Uber, you take a cab, if you get picked up, you'll find one ticket is more than $1,000. And if you get more than like a few, you go to jail. So it's really horrible in Atlanta. So for now, get that work permit, get the social. The next thing is file in Nicaragua. You may have a very good asylum claim. File a very good one. If you file within a year, you may be able to win the asylum. The asylum hearing may not take place for a long time, but right now, Biden is trying to adjudicate cases fast. Anybody who came after May, they're trying to do it very fast. Some cities they are not, some cities they are. So the second thing, number one, get a work permit, at least up to a year. Number two, file a really good asylum claim. There's hope, because if you win, you can bring your spouses, your children from Nicaragua. But even if you lose, if it's a good claim, if you go to appeal, especially if you go to circuit, there's a chance to win. But Atlanta doesn't have a good circuit. Ohio, there was a time Sixth Circuit is not good, but I think it's changing. I'm watching. So congratulations, get your parole. That's an awesome feat, because most people, so if you look at the NTA, it should be the first square. The second square means undocumented entry. The third square means documented entry, but subsequently you became undocumented. But congratulations.
Ok, bueno, muchas gracias a la abogada. Nos dice la abogada pues que primero felicidades porque entró a los Estados Unidos. Anteriormente a las personas que le daban permiso de entrar le daban un papelito que tenía una pequeña indicación en la esquina superior derecha, que era el parole, pero al paso de los años lo han simplificado y por la cantidad de personas que han estado entrando. Reduciendo un poquito la respuesta a lo que nos dice la abogada, nos dice que ella puede pedir el permiso de trabajo de inmediato. Ese permiso de trabajo se lo pueden dar hasta por 1 año, se lo pueden dar, si es por TPS, se lo pueden dar por 3 meses, o si es por alguna condición que está esperando, solo por el hecho de haber tenido el parole in, le pueden dar el permiso de trabajo, pero hágalo ya, porque no se lo van a dar por demasiado tiempo. Y lo que usted tiene que asegurarse es que, dependiendo de las condiciones de su país y las condiciones en las que usted entra a los Estados Unidos, usted puede aplicar por un asilo. En este caso nos indica que es de Nicaragua y que Nicaragua está tan mal como Cuba o como Venezuela. Bueno, usted tiene que probar que usted está dentro de una de las 5 razones por las cuales tendría que aplicar por un asilo político y hacerlo con un abogado para que ese abogado le pueda representar correctamente. Atlanta es una ciudad donde las multas se han ido bastante altas, especialmente si las personas manejan sin licencia o si no tienen un permiso de trabajo, no les dan la licencia. Entonces, bueno, aquí en Atlanta es bastante fuerte. Así que, bueno, tiene que tratar de obtener su permiso de trabajo para que usted pueda desarrollar otro tipo de actividades. By the way, Ms. Wong, this weekend, after the Braves won the game, Dominican baseball player got arrested because he was speeding, but he was on a DUI situation. And it's sad, but it is Atlanta, so they got him arrested. And the fine is going to be about $2,500.
Yo me sentí súper mal, Juan Carlos, pero dije, la ley es la ley y hay que respetarla. Usted puede ser un pelotero de grandes ligas, pero si violó la ley, usted tiene que pagar su multa y ahí está su infracción.
Igual Marcelo Zuna hace rato que anda con ganas de romper la ley. Pero bueno, vamos
they should really hire a lawyer the way you do it. And if you're a lawyer, I'm actually asking for your help because I don't do those cases, but whoever is listening, tell your criminal lawyers what they need to do is any young lawyers, what you need to do first, you need to go to the arraignment and absolutely plead not guilty and plead to a non-moving violation because any speeding, you have 2 points. You only allow 12 points. So if you have 6 speeding, you're out. Number 1, plead to non-violation. Number 2 is to protect immigration. I would not plead guilty to DUI or OVI. I would plead guilty in Ohio to physical control. Physical control is not a serious, DUI is a problem. Anytime America just doesn't like DUI, so I plead down. But Atlanta, I really think you need some really good nutty lawyers because until you're nutty, until you're crazy, you don't make history. Especially maybe more a woman lawyer who have nothing better to do than to fight the government. I would go in there and fight it and go to a legislature. Because now on this 2,500, it's not that I'm advising people you can drink when you drive, but this is ridiculous. 2,500, it's even an administrative assistant and secretary. We don't make $2,500, even one paycheck, even a month, because 35 or 25% of my paycheck goes to tax. So if you look at it, granted it's a mistake, maybe make them pay charity or something. Why? That's a lot of money. What does Atlanta do with it? Does it go to the paychecks of the clerks of courts? Where does your traffic fine go to? Like, for example, I charge my clients money, right? I know where the money goes from. We have to pay our finance people. We have to pay for insurance. We have to pay paychecks for our staff. We have to make sure we pay all the filing fees, right? So every organization, especially the government is a not-for-profit entity. If not, you go make money. The government is not supposed to make money. The government is supposed to use the fine to pay for more police or more something and protect the victims, right? So in this case, especially Atlanta, I have so many clients who just pay the fine. They don't even use a lawyer. They just say, okay, I don't want to go to court because I'm worried about deportation. What do you do with your money? I would like to know. I'm 72 years old. I know what I do with my money, every penny. I work hard for my money. I don't have a sugar daddy. I don't have a boyfriend. So what do I do with my money, right? So I pay my church. I know what I do. So you need to account for what you do with my clients' money and people like us money. And I challenge anybody who's listening to my program, and I know we don't have that many listeners, but I would like, and I challenge, and that makes me so mad, $2,500 after a great game. You know how much Latino loves their sports? You don't just charge $2,500 and people pay. And next time, this poor kid, if he's not an American citizen, he cannot come back to America. Anytime you apply for a new visa, you have DUI, you're sunk. Worse is if this kid have a visa, I don't know about your consulate, but Chinese consulate, automatically the American embassy in China would send a letter to this person and say, your visa will be canceled. So this person is sort of stranded in America because if he leaves the country, he cannot come back. And he would not be granted a new visa. He's already punished enough. So I want you to account, what do you do with this person's $2,500?
Ok, bueno, la abogada se molestó bastante con el monto de la multa. Sin embargo, Bueno, esa es algo que nadie escapa de la ley. Nos dice la abogada que, bueno, a ella le gusta saber qué van a hacer con ese dinero, porque en los lugares siempre se dice o se rinde cuentas de qué es lo que se va a hacer con cierto dinero, con ciertos
Así
montos.
es.
Le van a dar más fondos a la policía, le van a dar más fondos al gobierno para que haga obras en favor de la comunidad. Yo tengo cuenta de lo que hago con cada centavo del dinero porque me cuesta mucho ganármelo.
¿Y por qué no tiene un sugar daddy?
That's right.
No tiene sugar daddy. Bueno, eso también lo digo la abogada y es algo muy cierto. Pero bueno, son cuestiones que no importa quién sea la persona, Alicia, siempre
Así
las
es.
personas tienen que respetar la ley. Este es un
Claro.
país donde se cumplen las leyes y hay que respetar las leyes de cada país. Así que,
Sea
bueno,
quien sea, Juan
gracias por el
Carlos.
consejo del abogado.
Nosotros seguimos recibiendo preguntas a través de este Facebook Live. Muchísimas gracias por su sintonía. El teléfono para que usted pueda hacer su cita es el 216-259-8897 y nos manda Laura Quesada la siguiente pregunta. ¿Los mexicanos califican para asilo fuera de las categorías de religión, sexualidad y persecución política? Tengo un familiar que estuvo en proceso de asilo por 8 años. Una semana antes de tener la corte, el abogado le dijo que no iba a calificar y que la iban a deportar. ¿Es cierto eso? Wow.
Okay, Ms. Wong. So the prior comment says that the best attorney, Ms. Margaret Wong, this is Natalia Franco.
Qué
And the
bello.
next question is, do Mexicans qualify for asylum outside of the categories of religion, sexuality, or political persecution? I have a relative that was in a process of asylum for 8 years, and 1 week before having the court, the attorney said that he was not going to qualify and that he would be deported. Is this true?
It may not be true. Everybody have a story to tell, but if he filed his asylum more than a year after entry, it's difficult to win. But there are 2 ways to do this, because right now, even though the April 25th memo is gone, because the Biden memo is gone, so you can, if you feel you're going to lose the case, I would ask for a dismissal with totality of circumstances. That means you won't have an order of deportation, but you also won't get an extension of your work permit. And in Atlanta, it's bad. You pay more than $1,000 on each driver without a license. But I don't think you should give up. Absolutely look at now. I personally am interested of race because I'm Chinese. And I still remember years ago, I couldn't get a job because I'm Chinese, right? But nowadays in America, that equal protection, I'm always looking at my Mexican clients. I have some Mexican clients who are very, very dark skinned. They actually sort of look ugly. They're fat, So I'm looking at that and say, if there's any reason, because they're so dark skinned, they speak a language, they speak a dialect, how in the Latino countries is the world in Hong Kong 50 years ago. Anytime you don't look white, you don't look pale, you don't get a good job. But my Mexican clients always tell me there's no discrimination in Mexico. On the other hand, I think there is, but so maybe you want to start just because the law now says that you don't qualify. I'm getting old. I just like to fight them. So always look for new grounds. If you're a woman, a Mexican woman who could not get out of a bad relationship, how old were you when you have sex? How old were you when you have a first child? Did your husband ever marry you? Did he force himself on you? Because as Catholic, Mexicans is just like Ireland. We are very fundamentalist Catholic. So nowadays time has changed. You need consent. I have so many Mexican clients. I ask them, you were only 15 when when you're pregnant. It takes 9 months for the baby. The baby came when 16. Did he marry you? No. How old was he? Oh, he was 31. Did he have another girlfriend? All those girlfriends minors? She'll say, oh yeah. And then later on he'll say he'll marry me and I move in with him and then he'll move out. He has another girlfriend. I said, do you like that? She said, no. I said, does your parents like that? She said, no. So I said, why didn't you go maybe get child support, sue him, and then he'll come back and make me cook dinner and just sleep with me and leave again. I think that's a form of, you didn't give consent. You're so you probably have post stress after having a baby. You couldn't sleep with the guy. I mean, especially he's out there with 10 girls. How do you know he doesn't bring in AIDS? So these are cases I really think there is something, because it has to be objective and subjective fear. It doesn't have to be, the world thinks that because I'm pregnant, I'm not a good woman. Because I'm pregnant, I could not have abortion or no abortion. Because I'm pregnant, I could not work. I need a man to support me. All of those it may not be a ground, but maybe there's a ground, So you need to look at everything, especially women. I think it's easier. I don't think we need to get up that easy. I really think if you work hard enough, I have the same problem, because I also lose cases and I feel bad for them. In fact, I'm going to a bond hearing this afternoon at 1:00, and our office actually lost the first spot. I felt so bad for the guy. So I said, I'm going to do this for you. So pray for me that I win this afternoon's case. I think I would, but it's scary. I'm just getting nervous. Maybe that's why I'm so feisty. Pray for me. But for you, it's up to you. If you feel you're going to lose, ask for dismissal, then there's no deportation, no nothing. But if you think you're going to win or fighting chance, lose the case, bring the case on appeal, or win the case, you don't need an appeal. Don't give up that easily, because there's always a story to tell. And losing a case, even though you will have an order of deportation, it doesn't mean you will be deported. There's a true meaning to it. An order of removal or deportation doesn't mean the government will deport you. You still protect your work permit. You have an appeal. BIA right now is still with Trump people, is very bad. But once you go to circuit, like Atlanta, there's a bad circuit also. Don't give up. Don't. Life is too short for that. And you're going to regret when you grow old.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And you will win the case today. We're sure. You have a lot of experience, 45 years. It's like riding bicycles. You never forget that.
My client needs to get out of jail. He's there for I don't know how many weeks, and I just felt so bad. His family needs him, and his whole family have no papers. That's why we lost the first time, because the wife and the children are too scared to go to court. We had no witnesses. So this time I said, we just have to fight it, because the judges are going to think, how come there's nobody here to support you? You're married, you have children, you have sisters, you have brother-in-law, but they all have no papers. So we'll see. Yeah, but I think I'm going to win it. Yeah, I have
Tenemos las esperanzas. Vamos a ver qué pasa.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Bueno, la abogada nos decía, Alicia, que lo primero que tiene que saber es que no debe rendirse. Eso es lo primero. Y lo segundo que debe saber es que, bueno, podría ser cierto que le puedan dar una orden de deportación, pero de pronto lo que puede hacer es que solicite la desestimación del caso, que dejen el caso sin efecto, y que con esto no va a poder seguir renovando su permiso de trabajo, pero el caso va a quedar como terminado. Entonces no le van a dar una orden de deportación. La única desventaja es que no va a poder seguir teniendo un permiso de trabajo. Sin embargo, bueno, habría que estudiar todos los puntos importantes. Hay un mosquito que me está molestando acá. Pero, por cierto, que alguien se tragó una abeja en estos días en un discurso del gobierno de los Estados Unidos.
Bueno.
Bueno, pero dice la abogada, no puede rendirse, tiene que buscar a ver qué otros puntos, qué otros elementos tiene dentro del caso para que usted pueda pelear. Y si no se puede por el caso del asilo, de pronto buscar por la parte de la cancelación de deportación, o buscar pelear hasta el final. Después de una corte pueden venir apelaciones y hay que ir hasta esas apelaciones para ver si se puede hacer algo al respecto, pero no se deben rendir en este tipo de casos, porque este tipo de casos siempre hay que pelearlos. Uno no sabe cómo pueden cambiar las circunstancias, y los casos de asilo no se deben solamente a cómo está el mundo, sino es a la situación que uno tiene en ese mundo específicamente. Entonces, la abogada lo que le dice es, siga peleando, no se rinda, trate de buscar la forma de ganar su caso y busque otros grounds of admissibility o busque otros fondos de admisibilidad de ese caso de asilo que usted hizo o de por lo menos de la cancelación de la deportación.
Y es excelente esa respuesta, Juan Carlos, pero sobre todo buscar un buen abogado, porque después de 8 años de espera, decirle solo unos días antes que lo iban a deportar es un poco injusto, y por eso es que nosotros recomendamos siempre a la abogada Margaret W. Estamos hablando de más de 45 años defendiendo a los inmigrantes con pasión en los Estados Unidos. Yo sé que el tiempo es corto, nos da tiempo, señor Juan Carlos, director de este espacio.
Ya tenemos que irnos. Ya tenemos que irnos, la abogada tiene una corte en unos minutos.
Bueno, abogada, muchísima suerte en la corte el día de hoy. La calidad del servicio, la pasión con que defiende a los inmigrantes es evidente en estos más de 45 años de ejercicio. Muchísimas gracias, abogada, por el espacio el día de hoy.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. We're going to leave some questions for tomorrow because we know you are busy today and you're getting ready for the court at 1 p.m. So good luck and thank you so much for having us. Muchísimas gracias, Alicia. Y a la persona, Alexander Calderón, le invitamos a que se conecte el día de mañana nosotros para que pueda...
Mañana di la hora, Juan Carlos. Que
mañana a las 12:30 del mediodía, hora de Atlanta y hora del este de los Estados Unidos, vamos a contestar la pregunta. Si usted no habla inglés, yo me voy a encargar de traducirle la respuesta de la abogada para su pregunta. Así que conéctese el día de mañana a través del Facebook en inglés de la abogada Margaret W. Wong. Alicia, muchas gracias.
Gracias. Hasta el próximo miércoles, entonces.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
La abogada Margaret W. Wong tiene 45 años de experiencia en leyes de inmigración y ha sido premiada en múltiples ocasiones como una de las mejores abogadas del país. Maneja todo tipo de casos migratorios a nivel nacional y tiene oficinas en 9 ciudades: Cleveland, Nueva York, Memphis, Nashville, Atlanta, Columbus, Raleigh, North Carolina, Chicago y Minneapolis. No hay caso de inmigración que no podamos manejar. Es la abogada Margaret Wong, la que sí sabe de inmigración. 216-259-8897. 216-259-8897.
Yo soy Margaret Wong.